so on. Marathi Vignan Parishad has been conducting science fiction writing competitions for the past 55 years. And writers like Professor Jayan Narlikar has been conducting science fiction writing competitions for the past 55 years. And writers like Professor Jayan Narlikar has been conducting science fiction writing. I think probably those who did not hear, for them it was repeated. Writers like Professor Jayan Narlikar, Dr. Bal Phonke, Niranjan Ghate, Subodh Zavdekar, Lakshman Londe won the prizes and then started writing openly. Presidents like Pula Deshpande, Pubha Bhave, Durga Bhagwat of Marathi Sahitya Sammelan have openly admitted that science fiction is a contribution of Marathi Vignan Parishad to Marathi literature. Marathi Vignan Parishad was headed by Dr. R.V. Sathe, M.N. Gokte, Professor B.M. Udgaokar, Professor Jayan Narlikar, Dr. Vasanta Gowarikar, Mr. Prabhakar Devdhar, and now by Professor J.B. Joshi. Our trustees included Dr. Anil Kakodkar, Vijay Kelkar, and many more luminaries. Marathi Vignan Parishad started recognizing scientists by awarding Lifetime Achievement Awards since last 2 years. This is the third year, but more about it will be informed to you by Professor J.B. Joshi. On behalf of Marathi Vignan Parishad, I welcome you all to this function. Now Professor Parag Gokte, officiating Vice Chancellor of ICT, will welcome you.
Thank you. So on behalf of Institute of Chemical Technology, it gives me pleasure to welcome you all at this particular event, which is jointly organized by Marathi Vignan Parishad and ICT. ICT, most of us know, but I think the awardees, just to give them an idea about how ICT has evolved. So we have a 90 years plus history. It started in 1933, mainly to cater the needs of chemical industry, then the textile industry. Over last maybe 60 years or so first, it was part of Mumbai University Department of Chemical Technology. Underwent a series of name changes, I would say. First, Bombay become Mumbai, then we become autonomous. When I joined this particular place way back in 1992, it was just starting to become autonomous, and then finally in 2008 we became deemed university, and it was called as Institute of Chemical Technology. It's a focused university, I would say, dealing with chemical engineering, chemical technology, of course pharmacy, but well known among the peers, and we proudly say that if you compare the industry interactions, ICT is much better even as compared to IITs. Of course, their numbers are going to be different, so that's what Professor Pandit also said some time back when we were analyzing the NIRF ranking. So we will always be in downside when you look at the absolute numbers, because ours is very small institute. But if you do some calculations, again I remember when I was student here, there were a lot of surveys by professors from Georgia or professors from Stanford, and if you compare any of the outputs per faculty member, ICT is among the topmost, meaning chemical engineering, definitely it's number one. Many of the faculty at ICT are in the Stanford list. Of course, it captures only one way of, I would say, publications or citations, but as I just said, the industry interactions is also significantly on a higher side. We do have a strong alumni, and just again kind of following up the footsteps of IITs, every month you will hear in news that somebody donated a huge quantum of funds to the IIT, and then there is a building named after that particular alumni. So there are two definite instances of such kind of large donations at ICT, and that's what I said, we are slowly following the footsteps of IITs. One is the faculty tower, which was through the donation of John Kapoor, pharma alumnus, and recently, again, many of you might be knowing that Mukesh Ambani donated a sum of 151 CR for no questions asked. That's the message I remember when he said in front of Professor Sharma that we will be donating, but no questions asked. ICT has to utilize on their own, right? So, and that's a great gesture. So, Professor Sharma, we would like to thank you again for kind of requesting Mukesh Bhai to do that particular donation. Of course, we have been looking at how to spread, because once you look at institute, it's very easy to rise to a particular level, because initially when you are starting, you are at almost zero maybe. But when you rise to a top, maintaining that particular level and growing further, it's going to be extremely difficult. So those of my friends in Reliance always used to say that, again I am giving example of Reliance. So Mukesh Bhai has a habit of saying to their employees that we have to grow. And when it comes to level of Reliance, maintaining that growth is going to be extremely difficult. So for us also, now we have Professor Joshi as Chancellor. So we have been discussing a lot in terms of our vision for 2033, where ICT will become 100 years old, and then vision for 2047, where India will have 100 years of independence. How to grow further? Of course, growing will be in terms of numbers. So we have started now 2 off campuses, one in Jalna, the Marathwada, and one in Bhubaneswar. So that's the first right steps in terms of growing in terms of number. We also have to expand in terms of courses. So we are now thinking of starting BTech in biotechnology, which of course has a lot of demand, and one of the lifetime achievement award is definitely from that background. And recently we had also started a course on MBA, because nowadays there is always a demand for MBA. Of course, it's going to be related to chemical engineering, chemical technology. ICT will remain committed on that particular domain, so but that growth is going to be planned. So that's all, and maybe Deshpande sir forgot that I'm only filling in the place of Professor Pandit right now. He could not join here because he is on a tour to US and then to Ireland. So I'm only as the in charge Vice Chancellor. Of course, my regular position is Dean Academic Program. So thanks very much and welcome you all to this particular event. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kokte. So long as you have Professor Sharma and J.B. Joshi, this CR will become B. Billions. Now I request Professor J.B. Joshi to talk about the Lifetime Achievement Award system.
Most eminent persons on the dais, I don't remember better quality in last 20-25 years, so it is really most eminent. And eminent persons in front of the dais and dear friends. Marathi Vigyan Parishad instituted Lifetime Achievement Award in 2022. One of the objectives of Marathi Vigyan Parishad is to, of course, spread science and scientific temper in the society, and it will have its effect only when, like we say, that land has to be fertile if we want to have sufficient growth rate. So we want scientists, we want engineers, we want them to grow in number as well as in fundamental science as well as applied science and solve the problems of our nation. Many times it is said that we don't spend some sufficient money, we don't have laboratories, we don't have libraries, we don't have sufficient internet. But the two chief guests, Professor Sharma and Dr. Kakodkar, they have shown by their own example that none of these are required. None. The ideas matter, concentration of mind matters. So therefore, in order to make the land fertile for growing the new scientists and scientific community, we started this Lifetime Achievement Award in 2022. It was decided that one scientist from physical sciences and one from biological sciences be given Lifetime Achievement Award with a cash prize of 2.51 lakhs, memento, shawl and citation. Such a scientist must be 60, at least 60. It was also decided to give such awards in the name of following scientists. And the cycle will continue for 3 times. So today's awardees, they have solved most difficult problems of India, and again with constraints on the resources. So in the first year, 2023, the first award was in the name of Professor J.V. Narlikar, and it was given to Professor Somak Rai Chaudhary. And the second Biosciences Award was Dr. Kamal Randive Award was given to Dr. Rajendra Badve. Second year, Dr. Arya Mashelkar Award was given to Professor Ajay Sood, who is Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister. And Kamala Sohni Award to Professor Madhav Gadgil and Dr. Mehtab Bamji. This is now third year, and Dr. Anil Kakodkar Award is being given to Dr. Tessie Thomas, and Dr. Arvi Sathe Award, who founded Dr. Arvi Sathe Award, who founded Marathi Vigyan Parishad, is being given to Dr. Gagandeep Kant. Congratulations on behalf of ICT as well as Marathi Vigyan Parishad, and we will seek for guidance from time to time from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Joshi. Professor Joshi is president of Marathi Vigyan Parishad since last 14 years. And since then, he brought a new life in the working of Marathi Vigyan Parishad. This is one of the schemes that he brought. Besides that, the PhD program in Marathi Vigyan Parishad. Besides that, the award for doing research by college professors and university professors in the respective institutions. Because if the students are to do research, whom from they should take the inspiration? From the professors. So if the professors are doing research, then only they should be encouraged. And then for 2-3 years, it was found that the professors from Mumbai, Pune, they are getting the awards. But then to the surprise of Professor M.M. Sharma, he found that the professors from rural areas, they are taking good part, doing good research and winning the awards. So this is how the scheme is growing on. And then there is one more program that Professor Joshi started, 2 more programs. One program is the one-act dramas. And then there are about 60 groups. 60 groups are participating throughout the state of Maharashtra. And last one is that in many of our schools, there are no science laboratories. So students are learning science like history, reading the book and all that and saying that yes, he has understood it. So we started a program where 6th, 7th, 8th standard experiments are taken and the training is given to the college students of first year, second year of science. They are given a science kit, one kit per 2 students, and then they are asked to go to the schools for 10 Saturdays, that is why Shanivari Vidyanvari, and then they should perform those experiments and allow students also to perform. About a group of 40 students are collected in a particular school, and such a program is going on nearly 250 schools throughout the state. So such new programs have been brought up by Professor Joshi, and thus now we'll go to give a Lifetime Achievement Award to Dr. Tessie Thomas, and then I request Professor Arvind Nathu to read her citation.
Now, I read citation for Dr. Tessie Thomas. Dr. Tessie Thomas was born in April 1963 at Alappuzha in Kerala. After her schooling, she did BTech in Electrical Engineer at Calicut University, ME in Guided Missiles at Pune, and PhD in Missile Guidance at Hyderabad. She also obtained MBA from New Delhi. After her education, she joined IIT, Institute of Armament Technology, Pune, as a faculty member on guided missiles. She joined Inertial Navigation Group at Hyderabad. She has been associated with the Agni program right from its beginning to development for lights. She designed the guidance scheme for being range missile system used in Agni missiles. An energy management guidance scheme she designed and developed for the first time in the country for an all solid propellant long-term system. In her spanning work for more than 32 years, she contributed in various fields such as guidance, control, inertial navigation, trajectory, simulation, and mission design. She was leading a major project on Agni 4 as a project director, including state-of-art system with many new technologies for the first time and successfully tested the flight and proven. He was also a director for a long-range Agni 5 system. She was Director General leading the Aeronautical System Cluster Laboratories. Dr. Tessie Thomas was recipient of DRDO Agni Award and many other DRDO accolades. Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence in Public Administration, Academics and Management, Institution of Engineers, Engineering Design Award, Vasvik Award, Madam Marie Curie Award, and many more. She got 7 honorary doctorates from various universities. She is also the fellow of several academies. She is the first lady to lead DRDO. Currently, she is the Vice Chancellor of Nish University, that is Nurul Islam Center for Higher Education. Madam, Marathi Vidyan Parishad feels proud of recognizing your Agni missile womanship and happy to offer Dr. Anil Kakodkar Lifetime Achievement Award for the year 2025, signed by Professor J.V. Joshi, President, Marathi Vidyan Parishad. Thank you.
Thanks, Professor Nathu. We have a selection committee for this particular program, and then Professor Joshi heads the selection committee. Professor Nathu, Dr. Sainis, Rajani Bhise, myself, one Professor Sudhir Panse, these are the members of this particular committee. And now I request Dr. Anil Kakodkar himself on whose name this particular award is given, to felicitate Dr. Tessie Thomas. हा, या पुढे. I request Mr. Dilip Herlekar to introduce Dr. Kakodkar.
Hello everybody, it is a privilege for me to introduce Dr. Anil Kakodkar. Dr. Anil Kakodkar, born in Bidwani, Madhya Pradesh in 1943. Schooling took place in MP and then college education in Ruparel and VCTI, colleges in Mumbai. His entire career was in Bhabha Atomic Research Center, starting from training school to the center director BARC. Then he rose to chairmanship of Atomic Energy Commission, AEC, and Secretary Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. During his early career in BARC, he participated in a big way to erect Dhruv reactor and solved intricate problems of atomic reactors at Rajasthan Atomic Power Plant and at Kalpakam, saving crores of rupees and downtime of a number of years. He developed successfully the technique of electronic beam welding for dissimilar metals. He was more active in using thorium. He gave impetus to the use of fast breeder reactor. In the capacity of Chairman Atomic Energy Commission, his leadership in getting 123 agreement done with USA during Prime Ministership of Dr. Manmohan Singh was laudable. Dr. Kakodkar is Chairman of Technical Information Forecasting and Assessment, TIFAC, during 2014 to 2034. He is Chairman of Dr. Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission of Government of Maharashtra. He started a course in Excellence in Basic Sciences in University of Mumbai and at Bhubaneswar. Dr. Kakodkar is a recipient of Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, besides countless number of other accolades. Thank you.
Now I request Dr. Anil Kakodkar to give his address, and Kakodkar sir, you can take more time because we are ahead of time.
Professor J.B. Joshi, Honorable Chancellor, ICT, President, Marathi Vidyan Parishad, and many more. He is also a member on Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission. Respected Professor M.M. Sharma, Guruji for all of us, although I never learnt under him, but he is such an respectable father figure that we all bow in respect in front of him. The two very distinguished awardees, and I don't know whether it's by design or coincidence, but two very distinguished lady scientist awardees who are being decorated with the lifetime awards, and I'll come to that in a moment. Professor Parag Gupte, Shri A.P. Deshpande, APA for us all. There are very many distinguished people in the auditorium, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, of course, let me formally extend congratulations to Dr. Tessie Thomas, and maybe in advance to Dr. Gagandeep Khan. I think, how shall I say, both these scientists have been spearheading domains which has not only make India proud, but I somehow suspect that slowly the leading countries of the world are getting envious of us. Yeah, because of, in fact, if you follow the developments, the way things are happening, leave aside the utterances of President Trump, but I think the underlying current is India seems to have arrived, and while that is a matter for celebration, appreciation, but also it's a matter of envy and some concern for some powers in the world. Now, who has made that happen? It is the scientists like what you have and whom we are going to decorate today. Dr. Thomas, I know ever since her Agni days, I think. And so I have been following her contributions, both as a general member of general public, but also as one of the stakeholders. So, and it has been great that in the domain of missile and rocket technology, I think you are the first woman to lead that level, right? And there are many more. So she is very rightly recognized as the missile woman of India, and that's a general public recognition, or is that a title given to you by somebody? And I think such recognitions are more important. Lokmanya Tilak was called Lokmanya. I don't think it was given by anybody. It was just a public. So that's the, in Marathi we can call it Lokanni Dileli Pavti. So it's a recognition by people. So I think it's only fitting that Marathi Vignan Parishad and ICT thought it fit to recognize Dr. T.C. Thomas for this award. That my name is attached with it is incidental. Credit goes to Professor Joshi. So I have no contribution there. Lastly, I think as we heard the programs of Marathi Vignan Parishad, they have scaled new heights under the leadership of Professor Joshi. I have been associated with Marathi Vignan Parishad for some time. So Marathi Vignan Parishad had been struggling for funds. And so decision making was always a kind of, because everything is circumscribed by the availability of funds. And I think ever since Professor Joshi came on the scene, that has become a thing of the past. I can say that, right? So, Professor Joshi is a man of ideas and a man of research to take those ideas to their logical destination. I have seen this firsthand. Now, Marathi Vignan Parishad, which of course one and most oft-stated objective is to popularize science. But Marathi Vignan Parishad, as we heard, does much more than that. Not just popularization of science, but both taking science to grassroots and also creating interest among younger people in science. And this activity is sort of takes place both in urban areas, but also more importantly in rural areas. And I think a system of awards at all levels, we heard there are many types of awards which Marathi Vignan Parishad recognizes people with every year. So I think these two awards, or today's awardees, will certainly make a significant impact in that direction. And I don't know whether Marathi Vignan Parishad has the plans to organize some popular lectures, but maybe I can still claim some ownership and request both of you on behalf of Marathi Vignan Parishad to, at a suitable opportunity, convenient time. But I think talking to young people would be very, very important and inspiring. Finally, I must say that India has, multiple challenges and multiple ways of looking at science to address those challenges. For some, taking or seeing India in the forefront of all nations is very important. So doing something at that level is important, very important, and we must, if India has to arrive, that is important. For some, addressing the core problems of the country is important. We can't be sitting on top of the world and not worry about problems of the country. So that is important. And I think both these awardees, they fit in both these domains. There is a third dimension to contribution that can be made by science, and that is, I often say, is to reduce or minimize disparity. As the country proceeds, economy grows, you create wealth, but then that wealth should be, I'm not saying like a communist that it should be equally shared, but at least such economic development should not contribute to growing disparity. And we should have, so to that extent, I think programs which address the needs of the people at the bottom of this socio-economic pyramid is an important thing. And there are very many challenges. Some may be very important but trivial from the perspective of science. There are others which are kind of important and also difficult to solve from perspective of science. And I think without distinguishing between the two, I think it should be an important duty for all of us, the scientists, to address them. And I can say with some understanding that you can also create very high level of science even in apparently looking trivial problems from perspective of science. And I know Marathi Vigyan Parishad is also deeply engaged in doing some such activities. So congratulations to both of you, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to be present and to speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anil Kakodkar. This is the first time when we could get a personality on whose name the award is given. Because when it was given by in the name of Professor Narlikar, he was not keeping well. Dr. Mashelkar's award was given at Nanded. He could not travel that. Kamal Randive and Kamala Sohani, they were not alive. Even R.V. Sathe is not alive. But it is only Dr. Kakodkar whom we could request, and he remained present here graciously. I think I forgot the name of Dr. Rajni Bhise, who is in our selection committee. I must mention that. Now we go to the award of Dr. Gagandeep Kang. So I request...
Sorry, you have to get response.
Oh, sorry. Please. I think I missed that line. Thank you. That is why you are called Vishwaguru.
Very respected Professor J.B. Joshi, Professor M.M. Sharma, Dr. Anil Kakodkar, Sri A.P. Deshpande, Dr. Gagandeep Kang, Professor Parag Gopte, and all the distinguished members present here. Very good evening to all of you. It's really a proud moment for me to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award in the name of Dr. Anil Kakodkar, who has been a visionary leader for me, who has worked for Agni Systems, and a special privilege that it is I received the award from Dr. Anil Kakodkar in person. It's a wonderful feeling for me to be here and receiving this award. First of all, my heartfelt thanks to Marathi Vigyan Parishad and its members in giving this wonderful moment for me in my life. Yes, of course, heard about Marathi Vigyan Parishad, about its vital role in science, development of technology, and then its impact on the society. Similarly, the Institute of Chemical Technology is doing its role in building the science, in-depth analysis of this science and its branches, and contributing towards the nation development. I was really fortunate to work with many visionary leaders who has guided me in my career, like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who has, I was fortunate to join as a junior scientist when Dr. Kalam was the director of the laboratory. So I think he has given us the all opportunity to work for the systems like strategic systems like Agni from the very beginning for the development of guidance scheme for a long range intercontinental ballistic missile. That was the assignment initially given to me, followed by the different systems, all mission design. So these technologies were first of its kind in our country. Thinking about, we consider as in the secret class, and when it comes to the payload or the warhead, it was on the top secret where Dr. Anil Katkorkar's Department of Atomic Energy was, we had interaction for that. And when I talk about 40 years before, the challenges were even very difficult to mention because we were taking up systems, missile development, when our country was in a state where we didn't even have the facilities to manufacture systems of that class, or the materials were not available, resources were not available within the country. And working for Agni, we can't even tell that we need this technology, nobody is going to give. So it was almost, in technology wise as well as life wise, it is almost a secret and top secret life, going through 15 to 20 years that way. And we have the great visionary leaders and technologists and scientists supported by everybody as a team. We worked, and within 20 years we have come up with systems of world class, and by 30 years itself we have established self-reliance in these strategic systems. And strategic visionaries like Dr. Anil Katkorkar, all of them were there to guide us in taking systems of what class. And to mention again that receiving it from Dr. Anil Katkorkar and the Lifetime Achievement Award in his name was really heartfelt. And once again thanking the Marathi Vigyan Parishad and ICT in giving me this opportunity. I'll cherish this moment all through my life. Wishing everybody all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tessie Thomas. And as expressed by Dr. Anil Kakodkar, we will have some lectures, though not in person, but definitely online way and all that. And I must tell you that in the year 2020, the Corona year, Marathi Vigyan Parishad annual conference, though did not happen physically, we had online conference, and Dr. Tessie Thomas had given a lecture in that particular conference. Thank you. Now we go to giving award to Dr. Gagandeep Kang, and then I request Dr. Krishna Sainis, one of our selection committee members, and the ex-BRC person, to read the citation for Dr. Gagandeep Kang.
Dr. Gagandeep Kang received her medical education at the prestigious Christian Medical College, Vellore. She conducted postdoctoral research at the Baylor College of Medicine,
Translational Health Science and Technology Institute, USA. Dr. Kang is a dedicated physician scientist. She has devoted her life to improving public health. From the beginning of her career, Dr. Kang recognized India's needs. Her work encompasses childhood enteric infections. She established community-based studies to address childhood enteric infections and their effect on children's growth and further development. Childhood enteric infections are caused by poor sanitation and contaminated water. She investigated the relationship between prior enteric rotavirus infection and subsequent response to vaccination. She guided her research colleagues to investigate this data using immunological and mechanistic approaches. Dr. Kang's pioneering work led to the development and manufacture of two rotavirus vaccines, RotaVac and RotaCell, both of which are approved by the World Health Organization. The vaccines have saved millions of lives in India and other low-income group countries. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Kang co-authored the book Till We Win, India's Fight Against COVID-19 Pandemic. This work chronicles India's fight against this deadly pandemic. Following her retirement as a senior professor of gastrointestinal sciences at CMC Vellore, she was appointed executive director of the Translational Health Science and Technology Institute in Faridabad. Dr. Kang is currently the director of enterics, diagnostics, genomics, and epidemiology at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Seattle, USA. Dr. Kang's accolades know no bounds. She has received numerous prestigious honors, which include Dr. P. Berry Fellowship, the Lordu Yedanpalli Award, the Women Scientist of the Year Award, and so on. She is the only woman recipient of the Infosys Prize in Life Sciences. She is the first woman scientist to be elected to the Fellowship of the American Academy of Microbiologists. Dr. Kang is also the first Indian woman scientist elected to the Fellowship of the Royal Society. She has contributed to the International Advisory Board of Global Health Center and Graduate Institute of International Developmental Studies. In 2024, she received the Canada Gardner Global Health Award for her impact on global health. Through her path-breaking achievements, she has left an indelible impact on global health. Dr. Kang is called the vaccine mother and beloved daughter of India. In recognition of your outstanding contributions and dedication to improving human health, Dr. Kang, Marathi Vignan Parishad feels honored to bestow upon you the Dr. R.V. Sathe Lifetime Achievement Award 2025, signed by Professor J.B. Joshi, President, Marathi Vignan Parishad.
Thank you, Dr. Sainis. Dr. R.V. Sathe was the first president of Marathi Vignan Parishad during 1966 to 76. He was a towering figure in the physicians of Mumbai then. He was consulted by people like Swatantraveer Savarkar and so on. He is the person who started the diabetics upachara and all that in Maharashtra. And for that purpose, Dr. Asgaonkar, who was the ophthalmic surgeon, he said that you come to Mumbai from Konkan area and start the practice in diabetics. So Dr. R.V. Sathe had no bounds in his particular field. Now I request Professor M.M. Sharma to felicitate Dr. Gagandeep Kang. Now I request Dr. Smita Lele, who is the Vice President of Marathi Vigyan Parishad as well. She was the Dean of Food Sciences in Institute of Chemical Technology and then later on the Director of Jalna Unit of Institute of Chemical Technology. Dr. Smita Lele.
Hello, everybody. I feel honored and privileged to stand in front of August gathering and the dais and introduce Mahaguru, Professor Padma Bhushan, Professor Padma Vibhushan, Professor M.M. Sharma. You can see how nervous I am. Who needs no introduction. But for the sake of formality and for those, maybe many are online also, I am here to introduce him. Professor Sharma did his bachelor's and master's from UDCT in chemical engineering and went to Cambridge University to do his PhD under a great chemical engineer, Professor Danckwerts. After completing that, in 1964, he was directly appointed as a full professor in chemical engineering by University, the Bombay University, when he was only 27 years old. And this record is not yet broken. This happened in 1964. So that was the time when India was growing in chemical industry. So he became instrumental in the growth of chemical industry in the country and also in the growth of UDCT. So that was the time, no internet, no social media. But I remember when I visited Delhi as a junior teacher in some DBT meetings and introduced myself, I was asked by seniors, oh, so you come from Dr. Sharma's institute? So UDCT and Professor Sharma was synonyms. He has mentored many students and also industrialists. We know one famous name, Mukesh Ambani sir. And that was the time when he taught us how to do research with mere resources. We saw it from these great ladies also, we heard that. In those days, he guided 50 PhDs when hardly 1 or 0 PhDs used to enroll under people. And that tree of research has grown into more than 1,000 because his students, like J.B. Joshi sir, and their students, and their students, and their students, many of them have become academicians, researchers, and this DNA of innovation, more from less, being happy to have challenges because that will lead to some disruptive ideas, has been there in our country also and in this institute, and we are all part of it. So you can see that infection in me also. Madam, there is no treatment for that, no vaccine. Now formally, of course, he got many awards. He started with Swarup Sampath Bhatnagar Award, which you get as a young scientist, you means people, and many, many more awards. Highest civilian award, Padma Bhushan, he got in 1987 when he was in service. So at a very young age, he was director of UDCT. Later in 2001, he got Padma Vibhushan also. And he is fellow of all national academies, etc., because there are many awards which were added value because he accepted them. So he was never after awards, awards were after him. And so he's one of the most decorated chemical engineers. But even then, I would like to mention one fellowship, Fellow of Royal Society, FRS. I Googled, it was formed in 1660, that is 365 years back. And it has got fellows like Sir Isaac Newton, Einstein, and dominated mainly by scientists, few Indian scientists including Homi Bhabha and all also got it. But in 1990, Professor Sharma is the first engineer from India to get FRS. And here we have got the first woman from India who got that FRS in 2019. And she's going to get felicitated in the hands of Professor Sharma. So you'll be worried that from my passion which I learned from him, I'm going to go on giving a talk, so let me curtail. So if I want to describe him, visionary leader, innovator, passionate about chemical engineering, first love library, blah, 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 many of us have known about it. So I would like to only share one memory instead of reading out AI generated CV. That in 2018 August, when we inaugurated Marathwada campus of ICT, I took charge as a founder director. It was academic inauguration, so the debut lecture was given by Professor Sharma. He traveled there to Jalna, and students and parents were sitting. So he started giving analogy between human body and chemical engineering, membrane filter kidney, mass transfer with chemical reaction, his area, oxygen in the blood. And then for 1 hour, he gave 200 years history of chemistry and chemical engineering across the world without a piece of paper, no presentation, because everything in his head. He is a living encyclopedia. So I can go on adding because I feel I'm using a foot putty to measure Mount Everest, so I will never complete that in my life. So I'll stop here, but I will just add few things that in India, in our culture, mother tells the son, or maybe these days girls also, let's not make gender bias. Mother tells the son that become Maryada Purushottam Prabhu Ramachandra, because he is embodiment of a dedicated leader as a king. But no mother can say, become Lord Sri Krishna. Because Sri Krishna is born, he is an avatar. And indeed, the biography which was published last year, what is the name? Divine Scientist. Yogi aptly said. And I noticed that maybe intuitionally, his parents have named him Manmohan. Thank you very much.
Madam, may I add 2-3 things in your introduction? Please be seated. Professor Sharma is a passionate teacher. He was offered by Government of India Secretaryship of Department of Science and Technology. He declined. He was offered the chairmanship of University Grants Commission. He declined that. He was offered the Director Generalship of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR. He declined that. He said, I want to remain a professor. And that is what he did until now. Second story, what she said, that the FRAs, Newton, Einstein and like that, when Dr. Mashelkar received FRAs, he went there because every member he has to sign on a muster. That muster is 365 years old. Don't get surprised how it has not become yellow and getting into pieces and all that, but it is there. And then it is the same pen, tak, olden time, and the ink bottle. And then one has to sign by that particular old pen. And Mashelkar said that while signing that particular muster, my hands were shivering because on 17th page, Newton had signed. On 102nd page, Einstein had signed, and that I had to sign it now. Professor Sharma has signed that particular muster. And I am happy that today one FRS was felicitated by another FRS, Professor Sharma.
Let me start by saying that I am a product of this place. I came in 1954 as a young boy to study chemical engineering when in my hometown Jodhpur nobody understood what is chemical engineering. I had a hard job in explaining to my grandfather and my father what is this chemical engineering when civil engineering college existed in Jodhpur. You must have noticed that teachers have this very loyal constituency of former students. So you saw example of Smita talking volumes about me. This is advantage teachers always enjoy. And what a great pleasure for me that my old collaborator J.B. Joshi is president of, so was Mashelkar. So we bask in the glory of former students, and I'm never tired of repeating that statement. Let me start by congratulating both the award winners. I've been very passionate, as Smita would also remember, about lady scientists. And when I was a student here, there were only 2 girls, and everybody knew their name. Today, when you walk around, you think you are only seeing girls. And when the first girls' hostel was established in 95, 96, many of my contemporaries came and told me, Sharma, pagal ho gaye ho kya? You are creating ladies' hostel? Where are ladies? I said, this will be a gross undercapacity next year. It happened. Lady chemical engineers were unknown species. And one of our lady chemical engineer, she has written a biography, and she has brought out very, very nicely, you know her very well, what problems she faced as a lady chemical engineer in industry. In medical sciences, ladies have always been accepted, so they don't have much problem. But you must have faced a lot of problems. How come a lady engineer has come? But I'm very happy to tell you that large number of lady chemical engineers who have graduated from here have done exceptionally well. But I want to narrate the incidents of inducing them to do PhD. And this goes back to 1981. And one of the common questions was, where would they find job in industry? And we said, we guarantee. And one of my most accomplished PhD student was this lady. I'm very happy that this institute, though small, has produced stalwarts. It started by the desire of philanthropists and industrialists, which is a very rare occasion in this country. The whole creation of University Department of Chemical Technology, as it was called in 1933, was all by the desire and finance from philanthropists and industrialists, not from the then Bombay government. And our earlier all positions were through endowment. Of course, different matter today. Those endowments can hardly give any money to service those posts then. I think both of you have exemplified that what matters is the will, ambience. Many people ask us why Indian genes are getting expressed in Silicon Valley and not in India. The reason is that we are hierarchical. We are not giving enough freedom for people to, and it's a cultural problem. I think one of the reasons why within India we are not so innovative as we are capable is because of this peculiar family tradition where any opinion of youngster is considered as a defiance of the authority in the house. It's a cultural problem in India. Fortunately, things are changing, and therefore India is changing. Both of you and Dr. Anil Kakodkar, I think I am never tired of making this statement, Apna Hath Jagannath. You trust people in India, they will deliver. If you don't trust and you are nagging doubts, whether it is space program, look, the accomplishments of space, what is the cost at which India launches a satellite? What is the overall cost of all the programs of the space program? You take atomic energy, or you take all the costs which the overseas France or America or Canada have done. We have accomplished as exemplar more from less, less for more. Something I used to talk about in late 70s and all, because all that we did, by the way, we had no money to do research, none. And then we created this DNA. Fortunately, our first director, Dr. Venkatraman, right in 1934, research started on day one. There is hardly any institute in India where the research started on day one in that contemporary period. And the culture of library, you see, he's standing next to the library. And in engineering and technology, first PhD came out of this place. That time we were in the Ford campus, not in the Matunga campus. The outstanding work that Dr. Tessie has done, I want to show you the connection between chemical technology, chemical engineering. So you, for your satellites and all, you need oxidants, you need low molecular weight polybutadiene, you need N2O4 as an oxidant. So there is also a relationship between chemical industry and space program. Of course, atomic energy depends a whole story from uranium recovery from lean ores and all, but mostly done by chemical engineers, So there is very good connection between the recipients of the Lifetime Achievement Award today. One of our former students was in charge, he was chief of the vaccine program of Merck, Dr. Vijay Samant. So when COVID came, that time the entrenched view was it takes minimum 5 years. Please correct me if I'm. He told me that it takes 5 years to deliver a vaccine. It is advances in biological sciences that within COVID period, from within India, new vaccines came. I think it's a remarkable achievement of our country, and this is where I find some serious problem in India. There are very few spokesmen in India at the political level, highest level, that how important it is to do fundamental research. We have only one institute in the country where name fundamental is there, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. I do not know how without support for basic science we'll invent. And the word innovation is being used so loosely in India, trivial things are being called innovation. Unless we shout, and I'm not tired of quoting fairly recently, more than, I think almost less than 2 years ago, Xi, who happened to be chemical engineer, the great man from China, he made a statement which I think should have been widely circulated in India, that China should concentrate on fundamental research so that they will invent and not import technology. What a profound statement from, I would consider, probably the most powerful man in the world. I mean, people might say president, but I think as of today, the person who counts most is the president of China. Americans will make more noise. Chinese don't make noise, they just do it, This is a message I want to, and both of them would not have succeeded without grooming of fundamentals in the very areas in which they have worked. Fortunately for this institute, our DNA has been always that you do research which is first measured by academic standards, which means publications in renowned journals in that area, top 5, if not top 3. But simultaneously deliver that to industry. So take J.V. Joshi, whatever research he did for PhD, he has delivered in industry very extensively. Whatever Parag Gogte has done, and his mentor, the Vice Chancellor of Institute of Chemical Technology, Professor Pandit, who is abroad just now, whatever they did, they delivered in industry. So no wonder we are quoted as an example of industry-university relationship. But we maintain that our first duty is to teach. Then we must do research measured by academic standards. Then we must deliver to industry, and finally we must also indulge in scholarly writing. That means write monographs, books. Venkatraman must be given the credit of coming out volumes of dyes. We are talking of late 40s, early 50s. So that tradition continues. It is a matter of great pleasure that Marathi Vignan Parishad instituted these awards. I think it's very, very nice of them, and that what a multiple pleasure that two women scientists, engineers are also scientists, you know. Call them engineering scientists, so that they are being honored. And I'm particularly happy that she, being fellow of Royal Society, for me it was, I think, a pipe dream. And when in those days there was no internet, no? I got a telegram at 5 p.m. I was sitting in my professor's room, and I saw the telegram and I jumped on my seat. I said, what on earth is happening? And I phoned someone who was my mentor. He was so excited that within next 10 minutes he made 5 telephone calls to say that I have been elected. And what a multiple pleasure for me that my own collaborator, Mashelkar, got fellowship. So as of now, there are only 2 engineers. Third engineer is not alive, Rodam Narsimha, whom you must have. He was the second engineer to get. I think it is a pipe dream of any. In fact, many British scientists said, "Damn this Royal Society, you know, made our life miserable. So if we don't get elected, then we don't have that aura." Anyway, it's so nice to have a function of this kind, to give Lifetime Achievement Award in areas which are so important to the society, quite apart from excitement of science. The excitement of science, whether it was missile or whether it is satellite or whether it is a reactor, for you, the basics in creating a vaccine. And I was saying just before we came, how hard it is to come out with a vaccine for TB, which is a dire need for this country. I hope that Indian scientists will rise and that we would have a vaccine for TB. As you know, BCG is given, but probably has hardly any influence except to the age of 2 or 3, or I don't know. And money is not a constraint. It is the idea that is going to, like some success is being seen in malaria. I believe there is some success in vaccines for malaria. 30%. Good. So congratulations to both of you once again. I mentioned to you that how attached I was for ladies to do PhD in chemical engineering and chemical technology. We succeeded, and I'm very happy that they have gone places, and then they become. So next time when somebody came, I had an instance of a person who got exceptionally high marks, could get into medicine as well as chemical engineering. You know, this institute is known by 2 things. Oh, that place, damn place in Matunga, very difficult to get in. And where Mukesh Ambani studied. That is how this institute is known in the town. When you meet somebody in town, you are from, oh, UD City, oh my God, you can't get in there. So this place has its own aura, and somebody was mentioning before we came how many directors of CSIR laboratories that has come out of this small institute. I think speaks well for this institute. And now we have one director even in ISER, which is on science, but still a chemical engineer has become director of ISER, with which Natu is in. Vice Chancellor of Bombay University also, but Vice Chancellor of West Bengal State University also.
And Vadodara.
Now Vadodara also. So, no, but CSR directors, NCL,
Yes.
Venkatraman, Dr. Tilak, Mashelkar, now Ashish Lele. One man in metallurgy in UD City, Dr. Altekar, he became director of National Metallurgical Laboratory. IICT in Hyderabad, Ramarao. I mean, they are one after another, you know, Nityanand for CDRI. Pharma industry, I want to tell you that this was the earliest institute to have pharmaceutical technology. most of the pharmaceutical industries in India owe actually our graduates. Anji Reddy, Reddy's Laboratory, our graduate. Lupin, Nilesh, our graduate. Cadila, Indravadan Modi, our graduate. So you see, whole pharma industry is owned or serviced by people who graduated from this place. Now that is the strength of this place, and fortunately they all bless us by making contributions in various ways. They may call it by various names, but it is the good fortune of this place. And lastly, I want to tell you on the social front, because Kakorkar Sahab also mentioned about, we are the only institute where we give a clarion call in the beginning that anybody who has economic hardship will be taken care of by us. And we have been doing this consistently. Today we have large number of endowed merit means scholarship of fairly decent value, even though fees have gone up, hostel costs are very high. And it's a social revolution in India where we have had students, street cobbler's son. This is the triumph of India, which is not talked about much. The revolution in India out of merit-based admissions in government and government-aided institutions. People are not realizing what wonders it has done, that people are able to get into the most prestigious institutions out of sheer merit. We have had students who could hardly utter 5 sentences in English, but after 1 year or 2 years, they were very good. This is the revolution this country has. So same way you are seeing revolution in space program, revolution in the nuclear industry, and we'll see much more of that in coming years. So let me conclude by once again congratulating you. I'm privileged to be present on a function of this kind. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor M. Sharma. Now, this institution became very great because its founder was Vishveshwaraya. Dr. Sharma, Professor Sharma, is hardly minus 12 years old. And he is so much enthusiastic. Anyway, now I request Dr. Gagandeep Kang to respond.
So Professor Joshi, Professor Gogte, Professor Sharma, Dr. Kakodkar, Mr. Deshpande, Dr. Tessie Thomas, all of you here in the audience, it's such an honor and a privilege to receive this award at the hands of Professor Sharma. Everything that I've heard from Dr. Lele and from Professor Sharma tells me that I missed out not doing engineering here. So my grandfather was an engineer. He was a civil engineer who built the irrigation canals in Punjab. My father was an engineer, a mechanical engineer in the railways, and he built the diesel locomotive works in Varanasi and the rail coach factory in Kapurthala. So I went a little bit astray by not working for the government, but at least some service I was able to do in my role at the Christian Medical College in Vellore. I went there as a student and I found it to be an absolutely wonderful place because the goal of CMC is to train people to work in mission hospitals. So then, having done that, having imbibed that culture, I went astray again by deciding what I was going to do was work on research. Because if you know good doctors are people who treat patients, not populations. And that's the direction in which I decided to go. How did I wind up doing that? And it was really about my school and college education. My father was in the railways, we moved around a lot, we lived in small towns, which meant that you're always catching up. You move a school after 2 years, they've done something else, you now have to catch up on everything that that class has studied, which is different. So my father encouraged me to spend, encouraged is, well, he spent a lot of time with me, as did my mother, who is a teacher, essentially helping me catch up each time. And the fact about catching up on a one-to-one basis with parents who are really interested in what you're doing is that they encourage curiosity. They ask you to ask questions. And this habit of asking questions is really what research is about. So even though I didn't realize it then, the foundation of curiosity was laid when I was still in school. When I went to college, what college really taught me was method. In medicine, there is a way in which you figure out how to frame a question and then figure out how to get to the answer for that question, right? The patient comes with complaints. They don't know what disease they have. You have to ask them the right questions, send the right investigations. And in CMC, one of the rules that you're taught very early is no unnecessary testing. You do not do a CT on everybody who has a headache, right? So that process, that method of getting to a diagnosis, again, was the next step on my foundation of curiosity now informed by method. And then came this question of, if you really want to do research, what should you work on? And people usually think about cancer, they think about neuroscience, they think about all the stuff that requires new technology in order for you to be able to study it. If you look at papers in the highest journals, they're publishing on clinical trials that have to do with that. What are the actual problems in India? And when I looked around, because CMC gives you a very community-based education, I figured out that actually, if you think about cancer and neuroscience, those are problems that will be solved in the West. Or at that time when it took you 6 months to get a reagent and you had to plan your experiment 1 year in advance, that was going to be the case. So I said, okay, how do I address a problem that is specific to India? It wound up being a question between diarrhea and pneumonia. And diarrhea was more challenging because your gut is not a sterile environment. Your lungs are sterile, so if you find a bug in there, that's what's causing your infection. In diarrhea, it's more complicated than that, and I like complicated things. I like to try and figure things out. So that's how I wound up in the field that I wound up in. And I started out really by looking, as you said, at water and sanitation, figured out that water and sanitation are actually engineering problems. They are not medical problems for us to solve, right? It requires for the government to provide that infrastructure. Sitting in a hospital, you're not going to be able to do that at any level of scale. So I moved into what could be problems that were tractable for the situation that I was in. And that's how I wound up with treatments, with vaccines, and that requires you to be working with industry. What did we do differently? We made sure that we had the best possible scientific standards in every evaluation that we carried out. There was going to be, whatever study we did, no one in the world was going to be able to question our methods or the approaches that we took. This work on vaccines, everyone associates me with the rotavirus vaccine. I've worked on lots of other vaccines also. But the vaccines are made not by me, they are made by companies. And the difference that got these Indian vaccines across the line was that there was government, there was the Department of Biotechnology, there was the Indian Council of Medical Research that was funding surveillance studies. There was private partners like us, and there was industry that was experimenting with making these live viral vaccines in India for the very first time. So it really is to the credit of Bharat Biotech and Serum Institute of India that they came along with this partnership, and we were able to do this. It's also interesting that Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech were the two companies who were unafraid to do phase 3 clinical trials when COVID came along. Subsequently, Zydus Cadila made the first DNA vaccine in the world for humans, also doing a phase 3 clinical trial. That happened, of course, much later, and that vaccine didn't wind up being used. So just to echo everything that has been said, there is no shortage of smart people in this country. There is no shortage of ideas. Sometimes hierarchy does pull you down, but that is something that we can overcome with persistence and with continued curiosity. I have now retired from CMC. I'm still an adjunct professor there, few PhD students, never going to reach 50 or 100, but trying to do my part. I'm now working for the Gates Foundation, and what I'm trying to do there, even though my role is in the US, what I'm trying to do there is to persuade them that India has the innovation needed to solve the problems of the world. The Gates Foundation has basically, it's going to close in 20 years, which is a big announcement that Bill Gates made. At the end of 2025, he's going to give away $200 billion, close the foundation, right? But there are 3 goals. The goals are that mothers and children should not die unnecessarily. No one should die of preventable infectious diseases, both as outbreaks and endemic diseases. And economic empowerment underpins the health and wealth of societies. So the focus is really on Asia and Africa. And India, quite frankly, doesn't need a lot of things, but what it can be is a provider of solutions. It really can push the agenda for making the products that both South Asia and Africa need for the next 20, 50, 100 years. We recognize how to do it. We've had examples. And there's no reason, with the wealth of talent that is available here, that we won't be able to make affordable, effective products. I'd just like to end by leaving you with 3 messages. There's one for students, which is essentially protect your curiosity. It was so much fun listening to Karan today, telling me that he was going jogging and saw PPE being dumped in a waste dump, and that's been the basis of his subsequent career and PhD. We need more people like that. To teachers, I'd like to say, you are building foundations. You may not know what the end result will be, whether you will produce an Ambani or a Modi or a whatever. But those foundations is what you are laying. And the fruit of all of that is in the next generation and the next generation. And to the Marathi Vigyan Parishad, I think it was exciting to hear that you focused on science fiction, of all things, my favorite thing to read ever, and on doing things like one-act plays and taking science into rural communities. What you do with that is you build inclusion, you expand the tent and the room where science can be done. And that, I think, is something that is absolutely foundational for our society today and always. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you, Dr. Gagandeep Kang. Now these days she is at America at Bill and Melinda Foundation. But then she happened to be in India between 1st and 10th of January, and we could manage to get her date to be over here. Normally, this function we conduct in our annual conference, but this time, due to municipal elections, we could not fix up our date. And Dr. Gagandeep Kang happened to come to India, so we could have this function today here. And thanks to ICT, Professor Parag Gokte, and of course, your Chancellor come our President, Professor J.B. Joshi, who kindly accepted to have this function over here. Dr. Gagandeep Kang and Dr. Tessie Thomas, thank you very much for accepting our offer for this Lifetime Achievement Award, and your presence over here is so gracious to us that we have noted this particular thing. Dr. Anil Kakodkar and Professor M.M. Sharma, who are our people, but they are so busy that to get their appointment is little difficult. However, they have given us time and came over here. They gave excellent speeches. Thank you, sir, for all that. Dr. Sainis and Professor Natu, who read the citations, being our committee members, they have accepted it easily. Otherwise, this is such a small job for them. Professor Natu, who started ISER Pune and then ISER Tirupati also, and these days president of ISER Calcutta and what not, ISER Bhopal, ISER Baranpur. He is very busy, and I saw his house is one room only to manage the presidency of those particular institutions. Then, of course, Mr. Herlekar and Dr. Smita Lele, they have introduced these luminaries. I must thank them. And then all of you, you have came over here, listen very cautiously and all that. I must thank you, all that particular thing. Have I left anyone? Somebody's. Myself. For that, I will have a cup of tea. We will offer the fruit basket to Professor M.M. Sharma. So I request Professor J.B. Joshi. Professor Joshi, there is one advertisement on television, the seniority counts. Now, Dr. Anil Kakodkar. There is high tea to everyone just outside this particular hall, and then these two ladies, they have to rush back to the airport because their aeroplanes are at 8:20, and these are not, what is that, Indigo, not Indigo. So they will go on time. Thank you again.